positivity topic is how does power and prestige make you feel emotionally as a human being? Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more lovely videos and recipes, and also check out the hint of positivity section on my YouTube channel. In order to get some positivity in your life if that's lacking, and also share some positivity over there so that it will be helpful for a lot of people out there. Apart from that, stay tuned, watch and enjoy, and let's have a little bit of chit chat. Hello everybody, how is it going? So what's cracking, what's happening everybody? Today's topic is how does prestige make you feel? Yes. So, as you all know, I'll start off with Om Namah Shivaya, because whenever I'm going through problems in life, stuck in life, Lord Shiva gives me all these sorts of exposures to different things in a safe manner. He doesn't just put me in trouble, but he tries to protect me from different trouble in life and whenever I face challenges, because people come and go. Some people are like, oh hey, we are Christians, you have to convert to Christianity and pray and then God will help you and you will get that and this. But all those sorts of people came into my life. Luckily, Hinduism is not a religion that forces anyone to do that, or you'll get some miracle. They don't promise all those sorts of things and bribe people to a certain extent. So this is not any offense to any Christians. I'm just sharing my personal life experience. So such sort of people have come into my life, and and they have left my life as well. So the only thing that's constant is when I go inward or I directly approach God and the universe, and then the opportunities come in and help me during my challenges, and that's how I felt was the best way for me to tackle life. So yeah, so little things added up, and I thought I'll come and speak about this topic. Maybe it led to me speaking about this topic today. And when I was a kid, I was a very curious kid. Olden times, I was known for asking a lot of questions, even for silly things like why. So then why? I don't know why. And God made me that way. Maybe I was just so curious, because as you all know, kids are very curious, isn't it? Because they are put into this vast, big, wide world, and they're trying to figure out, the world, and there's so much to figure out. It's like when you look at the world and universe through a kid's eye, it's like the possibilities are unlimited. It's as we grow older that we build these illusionary limitations and restrictions and things like that in our life. But from a kid's perspective, everything is just another new, different possibility, which is so great and amazing if you have such a mindset and outlook towards life. And then, yeah, of course, as I grew older, everybody was fed up of my why questions. They try to even avoid me. Andrea's coming with her why questions. But as I grow older, obviously, you get guides, books, encyclopedias, and now the internet to consult so many things, even though some can be misinformation and misleading. Even my son, sometimes he asks me doubts and I'm in the kitchen or something busy. Then he just goes to Siri and he's like, Mama, Siri knows everything. He's like, Siri, can dogs eat salmon? Siri, can dogs eat fish? He asks Siri all these little questions, little doubts. But certain things, if he wants to know the answer personally from me, he comes to me, approaches me, and then asks me, the questions, and then I clarify it based on how much I know, how much knowledge I have about that topic. So yeah, kids are very curious, and you should never crush their creativity or shut it down, because that's the age they get so much information, and that characteristic will help them later on in life to invent so many different things that will help humanity. So everybody, nobody is perfect. And then today's topic is about power, prestige, and when it all comes to a human being, how it affects them. So some people, it all goes to the foundation and the basics. For example, like I'm in the business field, or for example, if you're in the medicine field, a person has to go through a lot of hardships, in order to become, for example, a doctor. They have to go through financial hardships, and in order to study those things, because you are affecting a human being's life in so many different ways. But at the same time, what is the purpose when and that person gets so much of a prestige and status in society as well, and they can, once they achieve that goal of becoming a doctor or a medical practitioner, they what do I say, get the benefits as well of the job, isn't it? They get a lot of money, they start earning good income, they get good status in society, and that's all perks and benefits of that hard work. So do enjoy, that's good to enjoy that. But what was the basic, so that should not lead to arrogance, you know what I mean? Because that's when things start changing. Because what happens when you, like for example, when a person wants to study medicine, like I asked my son, what do you want to do, what do you want to be when you grow up? So that's a question we all hear once, like numerous times in our lifetime lifetime, especially when we are a kid and growing up, and we have to make those decisions, because it's that question helps us in different phases of our life to think about it. Oh, like what would I want to be at this time of my life? And a few years down the track, if that same question gets asked, your response might be something different. Or sometimes you might be passionate about that one profession that you really, really want to do when you grow up, and that never changes because you are so passionate about it since you were a kid. So either way, what it is that, for example, if somebody wants to become a doctor, what goes through their mind? Because doctors are, it's not just about the arrogance and the name in society, but they are also meant to be the most humble, because they are healers. They are meant to heal the world, heal human beings of different plights. And I'm talking about doctors at the moment because of this corona situation, and it's the people in that sort of a medical field and medical profession that are affected a lot. Sorry guys, it's too noisy because 2 leaf blowers are down there blowing leaves. one profession, isn't it? Everybody has to do their job. So yeah, what I was saying is that medical professional people are most affected these days, because a lot of people's lives, you see them, you either heal them or you see them pass away. So and then experiences, you get a lot of experiences as well. So the intention should always remain, that basic foundation should not be, oh, I get to be arrogant, show off. I get the basic humbleness. If we maintain it and be like, okay, I'm going to serve the people, this is an opportunity to help a lot of people, you make a lot of difference in people's lives, and at the same, in a good way, and at the same time, you get appreciated for it from others. And that is the best way to get recognition and prestige in society, when it is given to you from others via gratitude and thankfulness, than when it's coming from yourself and you're being the arrogant, you don't reach further. For example, Princess Diana, why was she the people's princess? Being a princess is the most highest, one of the highest regards, isn't it? Like after the queen and all, you get to be there, and royalty. So Princess Diana was, why did she become the people's princess beyond the normal princess tagline? It's because she was so charity oriented. She really genuinely from her heart was humble enough. She took it on, unlike taking it on as an arrogant identity, she took it on as a as a service oriented charity giving role in her life. So that was the type of person she is, and that is why, than any normal queen or princess, she was able to reach out much more, into the public's hearts of people, and that's why she was so loved. Of course, it was a tragedy and it was sad at the end, but everybody, like, yeah, we can't, but that should not stop people from being good and humble, because that gets you a long way further than if you limit yourself focusing on just your family, your status, showing off. But if you focus more on doing more, using your power and prestige for humanity, it comes back tenfold. Of course, my son was asking me about Princess Diana and things like that, because he was learning about it recently as well. He came to know about it, so I had to show him the videos and the tragedy and everything. So so I feel like these things just come into my life at certain times, and then I make a topic, because I feel like God just gives me that sort of a wisdom. So that's what, and I'm in the business field, so if I get an opportunity, you know I would still be humble about it. Yes, it would be about making money, because that's what people are like, I want to make money. I'm in this field. I have to get this much money, money, money. Money minded is also good, especially for people who are in the business field. But if you are able to create more jobs for people, like in my case, I empathize with the more vulnerable women, especially single parents, people who have faced domestic violence. They go through a lot, women. And the other day too, I was reading on Facebook or somewhere, some charity organization was putting it out there that a lady is fleeing with her newborn baby, from a man because of a domestic violence situation. Imagine that ladies, that sort of a situation, like going through that is terrible, and then having to raise a child, and then that the reason why they posted it was because they were asking for any furniture, stationery items, because she had two kids. One was a baby and one was a school going kid, so they were wanting charity items for that human being. So that's why I even emailed the government to try and create, especially now with the COVID situations and all, you can try and create more home-based jobs that will give these sort of vulnerable women who have to flee and all a safe space to work within their own home. Just create a home-based office, work from home, so they can manage their work and family life balance. They can look after their kids, raise them up, at the same time be able to financially stand independently on their own two feet without depending on a man, because who knows, what the next person they're going to attract is, might be another domestic violent person. And it does take such an emotional toll, giving birth to a child, having to run from this sort of. So women are having, and this single parent things and all are very popular these days. It's very common thing. So of course it's time, because women can't take too much, the job of a man, job of a woman, and then go into the workforce, raise kids. So something has to be made easier for women, because they can't even reach, not a lot of them, unless they have a good, stable, family supported life, to even reach higher positions, without any support. It's not easy, because they have to sacrifice many things to raise up kids. So if I'm in the business field also, I would be focusing on helping such vulnerable people, because then at least you get that, not blessings to, you can't say that, but at least you are doing something worthwhile, more than what, you can. I could just be selfish, just look at my family, go, okay, yeah, I'm a businesswoman, yeah. Or I can take that other step and help people who genuinely want it, genuinely need it, genuinely are suffering because of it. So every profession, you have two ways of looking at it. You can either be arrogant and be happy with the prestige the title gives you, or like Princess Diana and all, you can actually use it as a service mentality and go out there to help humanity, do more than what your limitations are, to genuinely make a difference. Because people have not got famous or famous for bragging about themselves. Nobody has. If at all anybody has got really famous and actually held a high place in the public's heart or hearts of many human beings, is when they went out and gave services to people. You find a problem, what is going on, and see if you can give a solution to that problem. That is also part of business. You can take it as a profit and loss, or you can go that extra mile and it will take you long way. You know what I mean? So if you have that sort of a caliber, do go for it. Because even recently, this topic too, another reason I'm bringing up is because another situations came that relates to it. It's like nowadays the government and things like that, with this COVID situation, they are making rules for people, doing that, telling people to do this, do that. And ultimately they are in place of such high power, isn't it? They can control so many people. And tell them what to do, give restrictions for people, give freedoms for people according to how they want. But then even in the news they say, oh, this person is in the politics, they're playing a political game, they're just trying to But come on, like, why did you get into politics? What was the initial reason? Was it to play these bad political games for corruption, for misleading, misusing people, or was it genuinely to help contribute to the community, to serve the people, to solve many problems in the society that would help people a lot and change their lives for the better? If that is genuinely in there in the heart only, the actions will speak louder than their words. Like Princess Diana, just watch the things she has done. Like, her actions spoke thousands more than her words, and then through her words you can see how genuine she was. Whereas some people, they just give bland words and then their actions show, like, because inside the heart and soul, it's a different, the intention, is different, because corruption comes in, and it can come where there is power, there is corruption too, isn't it, in different forms. And the more power you get, the more enemies you make, because when you're on the same level, nobody cares, but when you start rising up, the jealousy starts from down there. But if you're genuinely doing things to help and serve people, you get less curses and evil eyes, I mean, not evil eyes, but bad, this harmful intentions thrown at you from people. But at the same time, where there are people, there is corruption, because you look at the paparazzi, they didn't even leave Princess Diana alone, because everybody wants their sort of, that moment, even if it's fame, everybody wants that moment, even if it doesn't last forever. They just want, one of my favorite celebrities is Priyanka Chopra. Of course, she has a very perfect, not perfect life, I can't say that, but she has a good life, family life. She's got a good partner who's well settled and everything. But she too stood up, because it was not always like that. At one point of her life, she went through bullying and everything. But when she got that status, power, name, fame, everything, she didn't just ignore that. She brought that topic up, in order to raise that awareness for many women. And not Priyanka Chopra cannot solve all the problems. Different women have to stand up. If we are suffering, we have to stand up, use our voice to be heard. Even if we are nobody, there might be somebody who's somebody out there who can do something to help or change the situation, because they might relate or have that sort of a power in their hands. So power, prestige is not something to be misused or get arrogant about. It won't take you far. Whereas if you use it in order to help humanity as a whole and go out of your way and, take that as an opportunity to do something for the world, to do something amazing. If that is your mindset and you think like a kid, where your possibilities are not limited and you're not limiting yourself to this small brick, but you are expanding, definitely that will get recognized. Definitely it will go a long way. Definitely, it will change lives of not just you and your family, but a lot of people for the better. And I do request that people in such places of authority and power, despite the corruption out there, will still have that mindset, rather than just the arrogant mindset, but the service mindset, the compassionate mindset. Like I said, being a doctor too, it's the most humble profession. Like, even if you're a Christian, they say Jesus is the doctor, he's a healer. Why do people become doctors? It's to serve human beings, to help them with their problems. Then money, the other sort of prestige, the rewards that come, that is a bonus. You don't use that to be like, oh wow, like this. No, because ultimately everybody in the place of prestige, power, honor are only human beings, because their life is also like that. Once they pass away, they're still not going to go down and buried in the sand in a small box, and it goes down to their kids and their family, like their kids and things like that. And when it goes down to it, when you teach the future generations as well, like the kids and everything, to be humble, to do the right things, to be responsible, and the main thing more than all those things and disciplining is that their happiness. Why are we struggling? Why are we suffering? Why did we study so much to get here and there? Why? Happiness. You want to live a happy life. What's the point of having everything and you're not happy, you're stressed, you're depressed, you're anxious? what there's so ultimately money is not everything, because like the panditji at the temple told me recently too, Andrea, what's the point of you having money? You have to focus, money is needed, but if like you have to, he said, you have to focus on good health and happiness, because if you don't have these two things, what's the point of money? What's the point of money if you don't have good health? What's the point of money if you don't have happiness? Can you enjoy it to that maximum potential, isn't it? So every time, like more than that, so always do not run after money at the expense of the happiness of your kids, at the happiness of your family and loved and dear ones, at your own happiness. you know Always focus on peace of mind, inner peace, because we're all human beings and this life is not forever. Nobody cares after 10, 12 years after you pass away, because that's all you can do. And in the time when you can do something, make a difference, make an impact, focus on that, than just let your arrogance, ego and pride limit you, because that is what they're doing. They're just limiting you. You're not going to get that sort of a thing from the society. People might fear you, or might try to please you in a fake manner, but definitely to be like Princess Diana and all, like the princess of, like, the people, the people's princess and all. For that, genuinely you have to reach out there in order to help people, whether they deserve it. Some people are not deserving of it. Definitely there is corruption everywhere. Not everybody deserves are deserving of our goodness or good heart, or the speech I'm giving, because some people take it for granted, they misuse it. But everybody has to make a change. If you keep doing like that, that comes back, and ultimately what sort of a life is that? Still, what? But then still, yes, there are people like that, but don't stop. The people who have good hearts should not stop um, you know following the path of righteousness just because of some people who are like there for corruption. There's always stand up for yourself. Don't fall into the path of corruption, because that is not sustaining. It doesn't get anywhere, and at the end we all have to die, and rather have a death where still you are loved by people than something where people are like, oh, thank goodness that person is gone. That person caused so much harm, and that, because whatever impact you make, it's not about the looks and all. It's about what you do for others that counts. Like, for example, my grandma, she passed away a long time back, but she's still living through me, because of the memories I have of her. Her memories are still alive. Why? Because if my grandma was such a bad person, her name was Charlotte. If she was such a bad person, she never loved me, I would have forgotten about her a long time back. But even to today, I cry, when I think of her, when I think of her love, that's so genuine, the care, the things she went out of her way to do for me. But unfortunately, she passed away when I was not independent enough to even do anything for her, to be able to help her back in return. But she loved me, not expecting anything much back in return. Yes, expected love and things which I couldn't give at that time, because I was still a kid. I was not in a position where I could be like able to help. But still, that those memories still lives on through me. Why? Because of the good things she's done for me in my life. That's why she's living on. Otherwise, ages ago, I would have forgotten, I would have moved on, I wouldn't even shed one little tear. See, that's the impact you got to make, in people's life, where when they think of you, they miss you, even if you're not there anymore. They want you, they think of the good memory, the good things you did, and they are always so grateful, and they pray for you and wish good wherever you are, for you to rest in peace, for your soul. And that's then, the other way around, where people are like, the last memories that people had of you is just where you hurt them. Or I do have an uncle who recently passed away too, and the last, before he passed away, the last memory I had was of arguments. Though, yeah, I respected him and all, but when they pass away like that, the last memory, and every time you think about it, is like, oh, that argument you had, oh, but still he hurt me. That's not having a good look, isn't it? That doesn't sound good. So I do think of my grandma, more than I think of anybody else, though she passed away years back. But she made a big impact, not because she gave me money and all, but yes, she did buy me things, but that was not because of the monetary value of that things like, necklaces, not gold and all. When I was a kid, it was like, but I loved bangles, glass bangles and all those, you get from these Indian shops. So she used to buy a lot. I had a little box of jewelry, but it was not for the monetary value, because at that time I'm a kid, money was not the thing. It was about, oh, pretty things, pretty toys. She used to stitch pretty, but it's that care, like, whatever she stitched for me seemed extra beautiful because it was from her. Like, she did it with so much love, and that goes beyond. That is something that's very invisible to the eye. And in order to leave such an impact on human beings, that itself is a big blessing than just being arrogant and using power and prestige and money to just limit yourself. Don't let that be a limiting factor. Make it a factor to help you expand. Use your wings and fly. And the first thing you have to fly from is and escape from and break free from is the chains you have created for yourself and tied you down with. Because there are a lot of people who are deserving. There are a lot of people that you can help and change their lives for the better with the power and prestige that you have. So if you are in such a place of power and prestige, for a second think of the intention of why you wanted to reach that place where you are in life. Was it because you just wanted to show off and be arrogant and be so shallow, or was it for a genuine, bigger, higher purpose that you had deep inside you, in terms of helping society or helping people? Or maybe you faced a problem when you were young that you couldn't find a solution to, but now you're in a place to help people, more people who are in such a situation. Or what was the higher purpose of you initially wanting to be where you are today? What was that purpose? So was it a shallow purpose, or did it have a higher purpose, a higher divine purpose? And if that's the case, follow that, follow your heart. Don't forget that path because some temptations or illusions covered you up or blinded you or misled you. Always go back to the path of what your divine purpose is in life, because we all have a divine purpose in life. It's not just what we see today and tomorrow. Every day is changing. We don't know about tomorrow, if there's even going to be a tomorrow. Well, there is, but you know what I mean. But it's good to live like that. If you're living like that, what would you do? If tomorrow was your last day, what would you do with what you have to make you be very happy inside and give you that inner peace? It's not about what's all the commotion that's happening outside. It's about inside. Whether you have little money, lot of money, little prestige, lot of prestige, little status, lot of status, inside you, what are you feeling? What makes you happy? What can you do to make sure the next generations are happy? Even charity begins at home. You don't have to even look at the society if that's not what you want deep inside. But at least for your near and dear loved ones, if that's also not a problem for you, at least for yourself, what truly makes you happy? And materialistic things definitely does not make us happy beyond a point. That's why human beings, we are never satisfied. We have this, we want the next best thing. We have that, we want the next best thing. We're always running and get greedy. We don't know where to stop. We are not content or satisfied. So it's not about the materialism, but divinely, spiritually, because this is a body, but when I'm talking and all, it's coming from a conscience. Inside you're feeling that nobody can tell you, right? Only you know what is it that you want. And for you to really find that out, you gotta keep that pride and arrogance aside, because while they are there, you will only think of corrupted ways of what to do. But in order to really this thing, you can't go outward, you have to go inward, not to show anybody, that's why they say, even worship in silence, not in front of everybody, in a place alone. Because only when you're alone, only when you're with yourself, only when you are there in the presence of yourself, with nobody to influence you, nobody to tell you what to do, nobody's opinions, when you're there with the divine and you ask God for giving you wisdom and discernment of what path to take, and you ask yourself, that inner voice inside you will start genuinely talking like what you really want without any exterior pressures of society. And that's the voice you got to listen to, because that's what you really want. And some people might want to conquer the world, destroy everybody, destruction. But do that solve the problem? Like, ultimately, what will give you happiness to live your life without harming others? If you can help, it's good, but if you can't help, don't harm. But even if you don't help, it's okay, but for yourself, without others, without other people's influence, this exterior thing, to mind your own business and live your life. Means business means not the proper business. I'm saying to mind your own purpose in life, and to mind your life, and also to make sure and ensure the next generations are going to have a good life. What is the best path to take? Because arrogance and evil thinking only destroys and destructs everything. Destruction, you can either choose the path of destruction or unity. And unity does not mean you force people to come and unite, especially if they don't want you because you're toxic, or they're toxic and you can't unite with everybody. But at least with your near and dear ones, that unity, to make sure your house is not just a building with brick walls and no love in there, no homely feeling, no comfort, but it is actually a home. You come to your house, so comforting, you're feeling so peaceful, so secure, so warmy, and deep inside you're like, so that's the thing. And like Panditji said, it's happiness and health. Money is a bonus. Money is a bonus. Status is a bonus. Prestige is a bonus. Yes, if you work hard, you get these things, it's a bonus. But it's not the thing to take and put it on your head like a crown and think, okay, now, No, because where there is power, there is corruption. But where there is love, there is compassion. And there is, going out there. So there is service. And that's how Princess Diana became the Princess of Hearts. Because the tagline of a princess, she was the best person who could use it, like, to be arrogant. But see, now even the future princesses are following her path to do that service, to continue the charity, to go out of the way, mingle with unfortunate people. That itself takes a level of, humanity. And that's what we are, humans. Isn't it? These things money and power and all illusion should not blind us from our path. So do try that. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. But yes, like I said, if we have the power, we should think a little bit out of the box what we can do, because not just one person can heal the world. It has to be a collective effort, and people who are in the positions of power and things, if they keep their arrogance and pride aside, they can do a lot more collectively in order to help the world and people in the world a lot, and more than that, hold a big places in people's hearts, hold big places in people's hearts in a good way, in a fond way. And even if they pass away, their name lives on and on and on in people's hearts, like Princess Diana, because of that, the good deeds that they did for others, not what they just grabbed for themselves and, hey, look, I'm the best. No, so that doesn't work that way. So your services, what you do, how you contribute to the community and individual people, like how compassionate and understanding you are to people's pain, problems, sufferings, and how, if you can find a solution to those that makes even one person happy, even if you can get into the heart of one person, that will mean a lot, so much more, because love conquers all, isn't it? Love conquers all. And love, nowadays people are, but if I love, I get heartbroken, and that, love is not that. Love is not corruption. Love is not sorrow. The definition of love itself is very unconditional. It's a divine thing. The whole universe is based on love. And forgiveness, and that doesn't mean you forgive and then you jump back into toxic situations. No, you walk away from toxic situations, but still in your life cultivate love. If people are toxic, cut them off, because you don't want anything. You don't want corruption in your life. You want love, isn't it? And the meaning of love is where you feel so loud, so secure, so homely, so happy, Isn't that how you want to feel? Not people who take advantage of you, people who use you, people for their benefits, ulterior agendas. No. Even if it's simple, even if you have to stand alone, if you don't have 100 people, beside you, is there love? Like, are you happy? Do you love yourself, first of all? That's the main thing too, because you come alone, you go alone, you have to love yourself at least. If you don't, you'll always be looking at the wrong places outside. And people, their journey does not always have, not everybody's journey has to be with you forever. They might cross paths. So many people in my life, at one phase of my life, I was like, oh, this is everything. They're everything. They're going to be there for lifelong. No, they come, they go, they come, they go. The new ones come, new ones go. Then how you choose people who come into your life changes. You become more pickier because, oh, that person did this to me. I don't want people like that. So you choose, you want a strategy. You want a planning in your life. You have to go strategically. You can't just sit there and, oh, life is bringing everything. No, because when you start a business also, you make a business plan, you strategize, that's how you run a business, right? Profit, loss, what happens, how to do this, how to make myself flourish. You have aims and goals even as you're studying. If I do this degree, I can get this job and I can go into this path. So it's a planning, strategizing over the years that leads you somewhere. So with everything in life, you need that sort of a planning, including what type of people you let into your life, who's going to serve you, the connections, the networking you have. Because one person alone can get only so far. But if you have a lot of connections, networking, how Bill Gates and all do. He gives the job to others, do this, do that, and then he networks and he's become, nice and famous and all. So that's how, it's a collective effort every time. You got to use that. Without networking skills, without collecting skills, you can't reach beyond another point. We need the help of people to support and who is emotional towards our cause in life. So that will go a bit more further, a longer way to make a change and a difference, isn't it? So that's the other thing. And so we have to be very choosy and very picky in terms of who we let into our lives, because some people can come and uplift you and help you and support you, whereas others can be so jealous and they can just turn you in all sorts of directions, and you lose your purpose of your goals and your life. So ultimately, sit by yourself without any influence, contemplate and think what your purpose is. What would you like your goals to be? Who would you like to help in terms of the vulnerable, less fortunate in society? What can you do to help? How can you do to help? What resources do you have? What can you do to ensure your inner peace, your personal happiness, your kids, the next generation, to make sure that they are going to be happy, healthy and wise and things, and live like that consciously every day, not unconsciously. They tell you one thing, oh, okay, do like that. Oh, they tell you another. No, consciously live your life and follow. Don't deviate from your paths and goals. Follow what you want, and that only you know deep inside. So that's why they say, when you worship, sit alone in a room, even if you sit in a dark room, whichever helps you focus and concentrate on what. Every day, not just one day you sit and okay. No, every day, because that's how Panditji also tells me, chanting my mantras every day. If I just do it 3 days and the next day my life is all busy and I'm happy and I forget the things, again I'm going to get distracted by the world. You need to keep alone time for yourself, whether it's to chant mantras, whether it's to pray, whether it's to just meditate, whether it's to just listen to music. You have to keep a time for yourself in your life every day, even if it's just 30 minutes to an hour. You have to keep that time for yourself, where you are not influenced even by your kids or anybody, just you and yourself, because that relationship is very important. The relationship we have with ourselves. We give so much to others that sometimes we forget that this is an important thing. It's an important being on its own. So how much importance are you giving yourself? That is very important, not just one day, a year or something. Every day. This is something to respect. You are something to respect, because you are a very precious being. You are a very divine being. You have so many capabilities. You are a very unique being. You have to respect yourself. Because if you don't have self-respect, how can you expect others to respect you? You have to respect yourself, because you are a divine being, and there is a part of God or the divine that resides within you, isn't it? So do not make yourself feel unworthy or give yourself less credit than what you deserve, because you on your own too, exists, and it is a big thing. It has to be appreciated, has to be respected, not ill-treated or disrespected. If you look in the mirror and say you don't like yourself, and you're like, you don't even like yourself, then how can you expect others to like you? So fix yourself first. If there are things that you don't like about yourself, change it, find a solution, isn't it? If you don't like someone, you can cut them off. You can't cut yourself off from yourself, isn't it? You got to, if there's a problem with you, you have to focus on the solution until you find the solution, because there's no other way. You have to work on this thing first, on yourself first, before you start working on others, isn't it? So that's all my message today. So today's topic is, don't let arrogance and prestige, don't let prestige and power and money and status make you more arrogant. Use it in order to serve a higher purpose in life, which is showing more humanity and compassion towards the world in order to serve human beings. And yeah, just remember, Jesus is the biggest healer in terms of Christians, because he was humble. He could perform miracles, he could do, but that humbleness, humility, always, it's a service. Even being a doctor is a service. Even being a princess is a service. Like Princess Diana could only make it to the hearts of people because of that. She was very service oriented, and the rest of the things like power, prestige, honor was a bonus. Okay, so inner peace, happiness, good health, because without those, what's the point of having all the money in the world if you do not have inner peace, happiness, not prosperity. Well, you have prosperity, but without inner peace, happiness, even if you have abundance, you're not peaceful enough to enjoy that to the maximum. Not just for you, for yourself, yes, it's important, but also for your loved ones and the next generation to come. We should never forget that. So they also deserve a happy life, because you can't take anything with you when you pass away. It lives on through you, through your next generations, your legacy, when you pass on your legacy to your next generations. Om Namah Shivaya. I hope this video helps somebody in some way. Take care. God bless. Bye.